You know, say I honestly don't think there we go. But yeah, either way, I think for the most part, I think people do the best they can with what they have. But at the same time, there's always this scare of
Always a little stressful.
if you win, then I have to do something. Like the same idea, right? I hate to say that there's like probably some male entrepreneurs that say, well, we have more female entrepreneurs that are now rising up. Well, they're taking, but they take my spot. I just don't get it. Because yeah, well, and it is true to me. That whole saying, what is it? Rising tide raise all boats. I truly believe that to be a true saying, and I just think some people operate in lack. But yeah, I'm gonna be more conscious now, and I'm gonna mention it to Kelly. Thank you, because Kelly brought it up too. My own wife brought it up, and then I kind of just blew it up. I was like, oh yeah, that's true. And she said, well, there was one girl there, and she's wife, ex-wife, who created the event. You can't really factor her into being one of the female members, right?
If you're looking at the time, it's 17 minutes. Don't be able to look at the event.
That would be, I guess they have to see her not women. I just thought of it. I'm interviewing. That was hilarious.
Interviewing.
Maybe that's their really rough now. But it's kind of like the way they kept saying it, you know, and it's sort of like
Yes.
yeah, like what makes it awesome. It just seems like yeah, it's just
Oh, this is the. We were talking about this temples and stuff, and there's a gorgeous temple up of 63 grade. It's massive. It's like gold plated, and it's absolutely beautiful. Really, really cool place. Haven't been here in years, but it's so nice. I was gonna put it on hats. Oh, I love your boots.
Like it.
Yes. Exactly. See my example, that's.
Well, I'm sure he did enough. Yeah. Well, it's like when we were doing the interview the other day, we had 2 mics there. I mean, that's what we're used to. I know it's like the norm is to try to hide it.
this one actually picks up both people. It's actually
I aired a version of I want to do it right away.
One, two,
And then
just
Sure. Yeah, well, I mean, actually, the version or the separate remember we did start over. And so I just put that in. Because I mean, the pace I was going, I did it on like, and working on the flight, Wi-Fi is not easy to do some video. So I did as much as I could. I said, I'm going to get it out there. It's more important to get it out there than just worry about polish right now. I'll polish it. But yeah, so and I got a lot of feedback with people since. Oh, well, but that's all right. Oh, yeah, I was just thinking that.
We're ready.
For second, sorry. Okay. 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 Why don't you go now? Oh, okay. Here we go. Okay, so just so you know, we have our it'll be set up there.
Right here. It will be bigger once I hit start.
Okay. Yeah, I can't see that either.
Yeah, no, it will be just the one of you.
All right, so Heidi, are we ready? Like we can go? Roll. Okay.
You're not rolling.
Oh,
This one's not rolling.
is that a photo or video? Okay. So is this one rolling? Oh, that's live right now. Okay. So we start. Wait. Probably better. Wait. Yes. We good, guys? Yeah. Yes. Okay. Okay. You ready? Okay. Perfect. All right. Well, hey everybody, we're back again with another live interview. As you know, at these events, we try to mix it up with speakers and interviews. And so I'm super excited to have a gentleman here that I've known for years now online. Finally get a chance to meet in person. So Eric Zuley, so excited to have you here. Eric, where we usually jump in, and I know we have a short interview, so I don't want to steal a lot of thunder, kind of ask you to share a full bio, but do you mind telling us a little bit about who you are, what you do, just before we jump in?
Great. Thank you for having me. This is my first time at UCLA, so it's kind of a cool thing to add to your resume, right? I'm that repurposer. I'm the guy that is going to help you resource and leverage content for value of your business and whatever your visibility is. We amplify that. So we built a social network, a television station, podcast network, and a basic membership situation to help you get a lot of value with your content. But with my background, I had a talk show for a long time. I have 1 million followers on Instagram. I've been recognized by a lot of things. I have an honorary doctorate in humanitarian services, and I just deal with amazing people like Corey to make a bigger impact with a lot of people. So easywayI.com is our platform, and you can check it out.
So I just had a conversation with our last guest, and we were talking about exactly that: branding, putting your brand out there, sharing your background, sharing your here's what I achieved, here's what we're doing, the work we're doing. Was it always, because it's a struggle for a lot of people is owning who they are and what they've done and achievements. And the last guest was saying how we need to and we should do that. And I know you're comfortable doing that. So has it always been that way, or did you ever have a struggle of sharing, here's what we do, here's the work we do, here's what I achieved?
Yeah, I mean, I think it takes a little bit to find your brand identity that really matches your mission. So when I first started, no, it wasn't perfect. I mean, we probably did about 15 different attempts to really get that right brand that matched the fact that we want to drive people to positive spiritual energy and family-oriented relationships and things like that. So if you look at our brand, it's a little E and a big Z, and it's gold. Gold stands for God, and we have, there's a reason behind the identity. And I think that takes a little bit to find to really attract properly what your audience is going to be and your market's going to be.
And so do you also help people? Because I'm sure, I mean, I understand that there's an emotional component, behavioral component, but I'm sure you work with people. You said you're helping other people leverage their brand for their business. I'm sure you do work with people that struggle with the idea of getting out there and saying, I own this and this is who I am. How do you help people with that? To understand that, here's how I look at it. If I don't let you know what I do, and you don't know the work that I do, then I can't impact your life. Mm-hmm. So I'm doing you a disservice by not sharing what I've done, because it allows me to reach more people. So how do you work with those people that are struggling with that, but you know that they have a great message that needs to
Going back to that brand identity, I mean, first and foremost, we help people to find their identity to really match their market perfectly. And then once that actual identity is created, then you got the whole process of, collecting data, automation, having your social media correct, having your banner be right. Like a person's impression you should grab their attention within a minute to 6 seconds. I'm sorry, 6 seconds to a minute. And if you don't, then you got to rebrand. You got to redo your graphics to where they want to work with you. It's an attractor factor. Your branding and your imagery should bring in the audience that you're looking for. It shouldn't be the other way around. So we teach our clients and our members on how to create the graphics, how to create video to automatically draw in the audience that you're looking to get. And a lot of ways to do that is podcasting nowadays.
Well, and it's interesting you said the 6 seconds. I mentioned that number. Tom Ziegler, so Zig Ziglar's son, shared with me, and I asked him what one of the things he felt that Zig did so unique that allowed him to resonate with the audience. And he talked about how the psychologist once went in and watched TikTok, and afterwards he said, "Do you want to know, Mr. Ziegler, why I think you're so impactful?" And he shared with them that you change up what you're doing every 7 minutes. Now, this is back in the 70s. And he said, I think that's how often movie and TV switches to commercial, or TV rather, goes to commercial. So in other words, you're switching it up. Psychologically, we were taught only to listen for 7 minutes. Now it's a commercial. But what's interesting is Tom said, I think then Dad had 7 minutes. He said today we probably have 7 seconds. And so it's interesting you said 6 seconds. They say, I don't know if you've heard this, Time Magazine said not that long ago, our attention span now for the first time in history is shorter than that of a goldfish. And a goldfish is 8 seconds. So my question on all of that, and what I'm driving at with that is, how do we, in 6 seconds, I know you talked about the brand and make sure it's done properly, but how do we capture somebody in 6 seconds in such a busy world like we're in now?
That's a great question, Corey. It's benefit language. So when you're building a landing page or your social media, the first thing people can look at is the description to learn about you. Those first 6 words is the first 6 seconds people are going to attract. They're going to receive from you. So you got to have impactful words that grab a hold of people's attention based upon what it is that you do. So if you use LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram, you get that little description under it. Those first, couple of sentences is where it's all at. So you got to really know what it is your market's going to be and what words you want to use to attract, your audience as fast as possible.
So that brings up a good question. Those words, let's say on LinkedIn or what have you. Now, I was taught, and I think there's maybe no right or wrong, but I was taught that it should be focused on the outcome for the client. Do you think it should be focused on the outcome or should be focused on the work? You know what I mean? Like LinkedIn is like, I help people get paid thousands of dollars for sharing their message. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what I help people do, but it doesn't really tell them who I am. So do you have a preference or a thought on which should be the case?
Case studies and testimonials are everything. So if you can prove that you are the richest, there's too many people that say that they can do things, but they can't necessarily walk the walk. They talk the talk. So if you have proof, I don't do business with anybody that I'm trying to get help from unless they can prove to me that they've helped 10 or more people be able to do what they said that they can do. So I think that they have to really show that they have a good case study of a testimonial. I would also say that the other side is really important as well, because you have to have the history and credibility behind what you're saying that you can do. So basically, it's the third party perspective that people attract to.
So, this is a complete deviation from there, but I know you've had some very notable influencers, thought leaders, what have you, associated with the brand, on for interviews and stuff like that. Question I get all the time, so I'm curious your take on this, is how can I connect with an influencer? How can I get them to take me seriously? How can I get an influencer to jump on my show? Do you have any kind of, we'll call it strategy, or is it just been building relationships and depositing in that, or a mix of both? Or
that's a really good question. Well, what I've seen is when you go around people that are impactful and have already done it and have already been successful, being real, they respond to real. They want to actually help people to be like them. So when you come across them, even on social media, you want to be as real as possible. But at the same time, they're going to do their research, or their assistants, their teams are going to do their research. So you have to make sure that your Google checks out, is what I tell people. So when people are going to look you up, it checks out and it represents you properly. And that goes through all your social media platforms. But what a lot of people look at, a lot of influencers will look at is how you are doing your own business and how complicated it is. Are you simplified or are you all over the place? Are you scattered? So you want to make sure you focus on one particular vehicle that drives all those other vehicles. And the bigger influencers, the bigger people that are successful know that. So they kind of look if you're scattered or if you're prepared.
So now, do you have, this is just a side question out of that, but do you find it challenging when you're dealing with somebody who maybe has a pretty intense schedule? Do you find it challenging to schedule a time, make it work, not have changes happen? Because I struggle with this sometimes. Like, just an example, I won't say names. I kind of said the names earlier so you could figure out which ones you choose are the ones. But I scheduled interviews on Saturday with 3 fairly big influencers, and 2 of the 3 had to change the time completely, and one of them said I might be late, but made it on time. But all 3 of them commented I might not be able to make that time. And that's a challenge. I had to be flexible to make that work. And it meant driving different directions and stuff. So I'm curious your thoughts on how do you get them there? And then at the same time, do you have to be flexible?
Well, that's a really good point, Corey. It's one of the reasons we put an appointment button on our customers, our members' profiles. That way people can actually go directly to their appointment calendar, Calendly, or whatever you might use. And really, you have to, I think, especially if you're successful and you don't have a whole lot of time, you have to trust automation. You have to trust technology. And really that becomes your secretary, and that becomes, Alexa is my best friend. I mean, I can't live without Alexa, right? So like today, for instance, before coming here, I forgot that I had 12 o'clock with the owner of World Podcast Network. And I was like, oh God, I can't be late. I'm on Corey's stage, but I can't miss him. Luckily, I have technology, and I was able to go on my mobile phone, do the Zoom, and I made it look like I was still in my studio because the background was so cool. But I wouldn't have even remembered it if it wasn't for that calendar reminding me. And I have Alexa set up to my phone, so like Alexa's my assistant.
Well, I bring this up too, Eric, because a lot of people don't see behind the scenes. And so and again, I'll say random because there's multiple people tomorrow. We had one person tomorrow that originally said they could only make today work. And then I was with them today, and they said, oh no, I can only make tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So you don't see behind the scenes that Heidi had to go and do some magic to make that change happen. But we try to be flexible, but it is really hard.
I think still, if you get an opportunity to be on a stage, any stage, especially a stage at UCLA, you make the time work for that producer. And also being an event producer myself, I've done over 2,000 events. There's a respect threshold, I think. And for people to say, "Oh, I can only do this," to me that makes. I mean, does that person think that they're better than you are? Like, why do we have to work on your time? So if you're a speaker, if you're an influencer, you really should be respectful of that producer and work with that time slot. So, just to be appreciative.
So a question I get all the time, and I like asking people this, I do a lot of interviews and run events, is, I don't, favorite's a bad word, like who's your favorite guest? But can you share with us, is there a memorable, whether it was a guest on one of your shows or whether it was a special guest that came to one of your events, but is there 1 or 2 that have impacted your life that jump right out? Because I know there are for me. I can tell you which.
Oh my God, I've interviewed 4,000 celebrities that are amazing, impactful people. But one particular one that stands out, Carl Weathers. He just passed away. The Rocky and Predator and everything else he's done. You can watch this interview on YouTube. My interview with Carl Weathers definitely stands out. Larry Namer, the co-founder of Entertainment Television. That me walking in his footsteps, meeting him for the first time, and being able to learn from him. They created the Make-A-Wish Foundation, Frank Shankless. I thought that was a really cool. And someone that successful that made an impact in so many children's lives and so many other individuals that follow the biggest brand in the world. I mean, he took my hat off my head and put it on his, and put his cowboy hat on mine, and he was like playful and stuff. Those are memorable moments, but there's not a lot.
Well, and it's funny you mentioned both of them because as you know, I was at the Secret Knock last week, and both of them have been a big part of that event. Like Larry, I don't know if he was there this year, but I know the last 3 or 4 years he was there. And I know Frank, I mean, that's where I think that's the connection that sort of helped his documentary of the life. And so it's just interesting. It's synchronicity that both of them would have been a part of that event. So just a follow-up to that, for example, Carl, was it because this is an iconic person that maybe you watched throughout the years, or was it stuff that he said, or was it a mixture? I'm just curious what made it memorable.
I'm a big Rocky fan. I'm like, man, I'm being Carl Weathers here. Like you're Carl Weathers. But he said some pretty interesting things, and it was really more about the audience. the way that he was doing the interview is when we interview people, it's what you need to know to succeed your goals. So our audience are learning from impactful people to learn how to succeed their own mission, their own pathway. And he really gave some good advice on it's all about the audience. I do what I do for the audience. I'm here for the audience. And I can man, I can think of so many interviews that Richard Dreyfuss was another one. And I will never forget because I asked him, I said, "What's your secret to success?" And he goes, and I said, "I'm from Hollywood." He goes, "Get out of Hollywood, go to New York." And those are just little, memories, little things I'm going to remember. But follow me, guys. There, Zuley on Instagram. You'll see a lot of cool interviews.
Well, and I guess the other question I have is, how do you be everywhere at once? And so what I mean by that is, so I was at the Secret Knock, and Eric said, "Oh, we're at the Secret Knock too." And then I was a part of Speaker Connection, but then I get on there, and Eric's on there, and he said, "Oh, you should come to our event here." And so you're everywhere at once. And so how's that possible?
Trust in your team and serve first. I now don't really think about myself anymore. I think about how I can impact other lives. I've been in a lot of bus situations, and so like A. Ross is here right now doing interviews for us, and her dream is she wants to host, she wants to meet people, she wants to network, she wants to be on stage, she wants to speak. I'm like, oh, I know the system for that, the secret to success is a microphone. So if I put a microphone in your hand properly, you're going to get a lot of doors and opportunities. Same thing with we have a couple of our other members here at Drake as one of our members, and I called him last minute. I said, "Hey man, I'm going to be at UCLA at this BLu Talks thing. You should come down." And he made it. He actually made the time and effort. And I always tell people, action takers are money makers. And one of the things I look at is the people in my community that take action. Those are the people I reward. Those are the people that I appreciate. We have Maurice Smith here, who's our journalist for Easy Way News. So like any opportunity I get, I do everything I can to give it to my Easy Way family. And they appreciate that. I was talking about the power of appreciation, power of association, and power of affiliation are the ways that you're truly going to be successful. And association, hey, you're at UCLA, you're with BLu Talks with Corey. I mean, Corey's not even like putting it out there, but for my cameras and Easy Way TV, this man's in the Forbes Coaches Council. He goes on and on. He's very, established in a lot of different ways. And that's power of association. His audience is going to, support my audience, hopefully, and vice versa. So it's follow for follow, and it's just remembering to appreciate and associate with the right things, and then you make money by the affiliation, by setting up the right technology and the right tools within that association. But it's really just showing love to people that show love to you. I wouldn't be who I am today if it wasn't for my followers and the people that have appreciated me, and we call them the Easy Way family.
So as we start to wind down, I wanted to ask you as well, something that I know Greg really does, and I'm curious, like one of the things you talked about is if you have this opportunity and you can make it work, don't make it difficult for the other person. Mm-hmm. And so I'm wondering on the flip side of that, I know one of the things Greg does is his time's limited. So he makes sure if I'm going to work with you, it has to make sense. So in other words, I need to know that you're an action taker, because you said that earlier. I'm curious if you have ever done anything along the lines. I don't know if you know where I'm going with what Greg does, but he'll tell you, he'll say, okay, if you want to meet with me, okay, great. So it'll be at 10, so 10 o'clock, 10 minutes after 10, meet with me at this cafe, and you have to bring a can of tomatoes that's open and 2 lobsters that are happy. So he makes it so that I need to know you're serious. And he said, because I know the people that show up with that are all in. Yeah. Anyway, so what, I guess I'll ask that, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I've never personally experienced that because I go way back with Greg, close to 15 years. We did a big event at the Los Angeles Convention Center together. We've known each other for a long time. And now we're JV partners with Secret Knock and Easy Way. And we're just friends. We support each other as much as we can. So I have not gone through the process most people have gone through, but I could totally see that. Because the bottom line is your time is really important. And a lot of people's time is money. And people want you to respect them when they're giving you their time to help you. A lot of times, someone like Greg can help a lot of people. He's very connected. So you have to respect his time and vice versa. Yeah,
I find it both humorous and a gift. I would be that person that would show up with the lobster. If I feel like if I wouldn't work with you that much, because they're asking him if I wouldn't work with you that much, I need to jump through a hoop.
Yeah.
But I also know most people wouldn't be there with the lobster.
It kind of goes along with the whole, if you make the meeting, you pay for the lunch. idea. So if you want someone else's time, you have to show why you want their time and why you're worth their time. And you're obviously asking for their help for a reason. You need to prove why you want to take it to that next level, why you want, it's really up to you to show people, show that person, going back to your last question, how to get with it with an influencer, show that you want it, that you're hungry, not thirsty, but that you're hungry for it, and you'll do not anything that it takes, but you're willing to do, whatever it's going to take to show them you want to serve them, and come to those people with a serving mentality. Don't ask, and same thing with when you're selling. Don't ask for money. You should serve people, and they appreciate that, and it kind of just let it happen. Just let our reciprocity do its thing.
I love it. So last official question, I call the passenger question. It's the only question that's really even scripted in any way, shape, or form. Everything else is intuition. But the passenger question is this, Eric. If you were on a plane sitting next to a stranger, they leaned over and said, "I need some life advice." What do you got? What do you think you might tell said stranger?
I'll go off the same thing my dad said when he's taught me is love and faith. 2 words.
Love it.
It's been everything. I mean, I consider myself somewhat of an earth angel because I actually technically died when I was younger. My artery was actually severed, and I had a piece of glass go inside of. You can actually see the scar right there if you look closely. And I love the fact, and my dad just survived lymphoma cancer twice. So I love the fact that I still have my dad. I love the fact that I'm still here to make an impact in other people's lives. So love, right? And faith. You gotta have faith. Whatever your faith might be, I respect everybody's religion, but in my case, it's Jesus, God, and that's what keeps me going, even when it's the toughest times, and I just don't want to get out of bed, or it's just too stressful, too much anxiety.
Amazing. So this is the unofficial question. How can we learn more? So if people want to learn more about Easy Way, they want to connect with you, whatever that looks like.
I appreciate that. Well, you can text, if everybody pulls out their cell phone, if you want to get involved with us, we're going to give everybody a free interview, by the way, if you do this. If you text the letters EZWAY, no spaces, to the number 59925, that is the best way to get subscribed to us. And you can create an account. We have a system kind of like a social network, like a Facebook, like a LinkedIn, and you can connect to everybody. We have over 2,600 amazing people, high profile, top tier people. You can create your own profile and you can connect that way. We have a whole bunch of other stuff. We're doing a big pitch party, actually. I want you to come for it Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Zoom. So all you guys are invited. EasyWayPitchParty.com.
And I had one person I see in the audience ask for a repeat of, I think, the number.
Oh,
the EC.
So you text the letter EZWAY all together in where it says message, and then where it says 2, the phone number is 59925.
599. Awesome. Amazing. Eric Zuley, always a pleasure to be continued.
Thank you, Director.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Awesome.
No time for Q&A, so I'll take Q&A back.
Awesome. Thanks again, my friend. Appreciate it.
1 minute stretch and we're starting again.
Quick change over. Yeah. How are you?
Brian, I'll introduce you. My dad should hear this. Yeah.
Awesome. Amazing, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, appreciate it. Travel safe with all the places you're going.
Yeah, I'll let you guys say hi to the audience.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and so you see me and I took point this way and said, I need you to move towards that table. All right, you will gravitate.
Okay, hope you guys enjoyed that. Go ahead and post your comments. Talk to you soon.